Hello everybody and welcome back to Wednesday night. I am Jill, Simply Made Unique by Jill, and we are here on the Aussie Decor Transfer Facebook page. So I'm going to let a couple people jump on. So as usual, I'm going to do a little bit of talking and I'm going to show you what I'm working on tonight, and I have two fun things for you. We're going to get a really fun look on some tray tables, and I'm going to show you how to come up with the look that I came up with, and I'm also going to put some beautiful flowers on another one that is quite finished. I always try to have two different projects going on for you guys, one starting and one kind of like us finishing it. So hi everybody, hello whoever's jumping on, thank you. Again, my name's Jill and here we are on the Aussie Decor Facebook page. Now I was trying to get you guys pulled up because I'm going to be putting the camera down, and then I will be able to see you guys talking as well as answer some questions for you. So tonight we are working with, ta-da, we are working with gum nuts and grevillea. So it's one of the wildflowers. I think it's wildflower 3. Yes, it is. Of course, you guys know that Aussie Decor Transfers come in these little tubes here, and everything you need is contained inside. It's going to come with two different little tools. Right now we have this wood stick, and we also have your plastic transfer tool. No need to order anything else. These things come with your transfers in your package. Now, I might not go through every one of these because I think there's a total of 14 or close to that in this packet. So you guys are used to seeing the sheets of the big, hey Krista, you guys are used to seeing the sheets of the big transfers. These are individual pieces, and there's a whole bunch of them. So there's some eucalyptus. We got some pretty flowers we're going to be working with tonight. I'm going to kind of work with these red and purple flowers tonight. So I kind of have these separated out the way I'm working with them because I have two different little tray tables going on. So, you know the tray tables you buy, well, everybody used to have them in your house, the snack tables, and it would come in like a wooden like a wooden carrier, and you'd have 4 of them on there. Well, I found one. They're all over the thrift stores, but I figured people don't like them as sets anymore, but when you paint them and make them really pretty, they would at least buy one to put in their house. And I thought, why not wildflowers? And we got some faux wood going on. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because we won't have enough drying time, but I'm going to show you basically how to get the look. This is another flower. Might incorporate that in there tonight. See, you have so many on here. And I am going to refer to my tube a little bit because these are Australian wildflowers. And if I'm putting them on here, I want to make sure they're going on the right way. Like they're not upside down, because not to fault them, because I would say it because I'm American, if they were doing American flowers upside down. But I've seen a couple of the Aussie girls that follow on either way telling us the flowers were upside down. So I'm going to try to be cautious of that because some of these must be upside down that we don't know that they are. So I'm going to be conscious of that because they're Australian. Look at, and the little hummingbird. The hummingbird's actually not going to go on my project tonight. I'm going to do something else, maybe a little jewelry box with the hummingbird and some leftover flowers. Hey, Amy. So this would be my second table, is going to be some of these. You can see just how bright and beautiful and different they are. Now I live in Florida. I'm pretty sure I have never seen any of these in the wild. I've seen things like this, but I'm pretty sure I don't have these in here in Florida. And we got some more. So you could see how many images come in just this pack. So like I said, I've been broken down into different projects I'm doing with them, so I don't get myself confused here. I'm going to take them away. And so these are individual flowers. You could cut them apart, but you don't really need to. What we're going to be doing before we lay this, and I'm going to show you the beginnings of how I do a faux wood look. And every time I've done faux wood, it's been like not traditional colors. Like the one I have on my desk in my living room is actually the blue tones. So it's got blue in it. And it looks really, really, really pretty. So I'm going to, as I'm doing this, I'm going to keep the transfers that are going to be going on this table so you can see what colors are going to be going with this blend. I'm just going to lay them out next to it so you'll see what I'm doing here and you'll understand what I'm doing here. All right, I'm going to tilt you guys down and I'm going to get my paints open. All right, sorry, you're a little bit crooked there. You can see the transfer colors over here, so you'll be able to see what colors I'm using. I'm going to pull this back a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Now, when I do faux wood, and everybody's different on this, I get a whole bunch of colors. Like I have a pretty green, and I have a pretty like mustardy yellow. I have my light yellow. And hello everybody, hello. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to be here. And I have some other thing, another color here, like a red tone to match in with the reds. Now, this is, like I said, this is a different blend because what we're doing is we're creating the base for a faux wood finish. So what I'm going to do, and everybody's different on this, is just how I do it. I painted it in a base coat. You're probably not even going to see the base coat, but I wanted to make sure my paint wasn't thin. You're going to give it a good spray down. And now I have one of these finished. That's what we're going to be putting the transfer on. So you can see how you can transform something from the thrift store. Again, pretty much every project I've done has been a thrift store find. And my spray bottle's being sticky tonight. We're going to give that some water. We're going to mist it. And this is going to look real funky, guys, but we're just going to start taking the colors that we're using and literally blobbing them on. Now I want them to be kind of wet like that, and I want this green to be pretty prevalent because I like it with the transfer. So I'm going to give it a lot of green because I want the green to stay prominent. Now we're going to go and get some of this darker mustardy color. Same thing, we're just blobbing it on. It's gonna look kind of funky, don't worry about it. Might have a little bit too much water in there, but that's all right. We're gonna get some of that mustardy color in here. Promise, don't judge until I'm done. We're gonna put a little bit of the original color on because once we start blending, guess what? The original color is just gonna fade right into the background on the base color there. So we're going to fill in their holes. It's okay if they don't go all the way through. We are just going to fill in some holes, and then we're going to do red last because red is going to take over a lot of those colors. And we're not going to do too much red. We can always go back and give it a little bit more. But this red is pretty potent, so I have a feeling it's going to take over a lot. So we're just going to put it in here and there. I might have too much on my brush there. We're just going to put a little here and there. All right, that looks real funky, right? That looks kind of crazy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a brush, something like this. There's different kinds. Then you're going to take a brush like this, and we're going to make sure that our colors are wet enough. And we could always spray it more. It's just a mister bottle with a fine mist in it. But we want to make sure these colors are not blobby wet, but they're wet. And they feel a little dry to me. So we're going to give it a little bit more water because they start to set up, especially with the air conditioner on. And you can see, kind of looks like a rainbow. You can see that they start blending real pretty together. Now I can work this as much as I want to blend them together so they don't look so striped. And like I said, we're doing a faux look, which we're not going to get to the rest of it, but I'm going to explain it later on, how you actually get that wood look. Oh, we got a hair. This is your base, so this is going to give you your grain, like a color to it. I'm not going to worry about my edges right now. I haven't even decided what color they're going to be. They're not going to look like wood. I'm going to paint them an actual color. You can see how a brush like this just pulls it just enough that they start blending together, and that's going to give us our base for our wood. And again, I like to do untraditional colors, like not a gray or a brown. I like to actually give it a color, and then when we go back and put a glaze over it later, that'll be your brown. So I could keep playing with this if I want, if I just want it real subtle, because those colors kind of do look like a rainbow. But you can see, I could leave this like this. People love this look where you just leave it so it's just all blended out like that. And then you could do your edges like a different color, like maybe the red. I'm thinking maybe the red, or just keep them yellow, the edges. So you have some something a little bit different. Now, if you wanted to go onto the edges, you would have just started swiping on them as you were going around. They might get a little more blended, but that is just how you do it. That's super easy. I need some colors. You could do anything. I've done this on my desk. I have blues and grays and whites, and I blended them like this. So when in the wood grain, there's like a little bit of a blue. It's beautiful. And actually, when wood grain is done right with the paint, I'm just getting my brushes in water, guys. You almost can't tell. Like, somebody actually didn't know I painted my top on my desk. They asked if I just refinished the top. The wood, it's so absolutely beautiful. So you can see how these, as an undertone of these flowers, is going to be really, really pretty. So we blended that on, and then I'm going to show you the wood grain that we're going to be working on tonight, and then I'll explain exactly how you get that wood grain look, okay? So these are going to be the flowers going on this one, and we saw the pinker flowers going on the other one. I'm just going to separate my flowers and get my table off of here, so bear with me for 1 minute. I'm going to get my next set of flowers over here. I got my brushes in water so we don't ruin any of our brushes. And I'm just going to swap out the tables. Put the wet one down. We'll get the one that's dry. And now these were similar colors but different. I did a little bit of aubergine color in there, like a deep purple color. Can you see how beautiful that is? With the wood grain having like a little bit of purple and greens running through it. Like, here's your green, you got purple, it's got yellows in it. And I will explain how you get the wood graining after we do some of the actual flowers on. Actually, when I wood grained the other one, I was actually going to go the other way to make it more look boards this way, but I forgot. So we'll have to try that again. But isn't that beautiful? Wood graining tool with different colors. And the wood grain, when you put like a shiny satin finish on it, like I use a waterproofing, and it's just a beautiful satin finish to it. It is so gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. So now we got our choice of flowers. I think I might skip this one because this one's kind of like a square. You know, like that might be good for something else. We'll see if we need a piece of that or not, if we can make it do with here. So this is what I'm working with. This is what I was thinking. These guys, and we're gonna lay down some eucalyptus first. I don't know if I was missing anybody. You think I need more green in that mix, or you think that mix is gonna be okay? We could throw more green. What do we have left here that we're not gonna be using? If we need a little more eucalyptus, we can always throw a couple of these leaves in. But I was thinking, like, look how cute that sheet is with the little ones and the hummingbird. I know the hummingbird's adorable, but I might use him on something else because it's just beautiful. I might use that on like a jewelry box or something. So we're gonna put them aside. I always have this one if I need more flowers. Now, these don't have to go like this. So we're gonna probably use some of these over here. And see, this is how you just plan out. Maybe a little eucalyptus sticking up through here. And then this guy around here. You have to think about what's going to go in the background. And I was thinking of maybe taking one of our stencils and just stenciling a little bit like off to the side. Not like a trellis or anything, but maybe take the lattice stencil and give it just a tiny bit of stencil, like kind of just in places. But I think I'm going to do the transfer first because I'm a little undecided. So I think I want the flowers to kind of come up further on this side. So this is your thought process. What's going to be the tallest? And then you start layering from there. So if I put this guy here, I want to make sure I have enough to like cover that he's going to be. I think we're going to start with that. we're just gonna do it. We're gonna start with this and we're gonna layer from there. How about that? All right. We're gonna get our paper off. And just to be sure, we're gonna come down a little bit lower. Now I'm not taping this down tonight because we're working flat like this. If I had it up on a, you know, on its side, I probably would tape it down. We're gonna throw one of our flowers down and we're gonna layer from there. We're gonna take this tool and we're just gonna push any air bubbles out and start it to get to stick to the piece of furniture. I actually prefer, well, this side works too, to get a real good grip on your thumb. You can put your thumb right in that little hole. And actually, we're going to try that tonight and see how it works out. But then the wood stick works really well for me as well. The funny thing about this, wood grain, and again, I'm going to explain this, so if you guys hang with me for a little bit, I'm going to explain this for you. This wood grain actually feels like wood grain. It actually has a texture to it, and it's really cool. So we're going to lay a couple of these. If we don't get all of them done, I don't want you just here sitting watching me do a transfer. Of course, I'll finish this and get it posted. So, but these seem to be releasing really well. And I just absolutely love the purple flower in here. Excuse me, something just made my throat really tickle. So I'm hoping that's only temporary and it goes right away. So I've never really tried the back of this tool to use on the thing, but actually this hole is really kind of convenient to get. Oh my God, the wood grain tool is so fun to play with, Donnie. You have to get one. They're cheap too. I mean, you could buy them from different companies. I know Dixie Belle sells one and that kind of thing. I bought mine it's just a single. It should be here somewhere. I might have left it in the kitchen, unfortunately, when I washed it. But it's only a single one. Like it's only about this wide. It doesn't have any other tools. Like some of them are really cool. They come with little tools, and you can get stamps for like the knots, to put actual little knots in there. I haven't got the stamp yet, but I've been really into creating fake false wood. So again, I didn't paint the base of this table, but I think it's going to be super cute that somebody's going to want it. Not that people don't want them, I just don't think people entertain as much as they used to. We had a set, we got rid of it when we moved down here. We were like, oh, we're going to have so many tables, and then we're always pulling like the ottoman and putting a, you know, something on the ottoman and this, not, and everything. Try this tool too. So I can see it releasing fairly quickly on this. And again, this was sealed already because you need it to be sealed. I know people have tried it unsealed. I'm just not that daring yet. So this is coming off faster than I actually thought it was. I was waiting for it to turn, and you don't always have to do that. If you just put your finger underneath the paper and give it a gentle pull, just to feel where it's coming up and where it's not. I know I didn't get over here yet. You guys, if anybody on here has entered into the Creator Club, the Aussie Decor Creative Club contest, it's going to be ending pretty soon, and we have some fabulous entries on there, and the brand ambassadors are going to be picking their favorite, and I think by the 30th or the 29th we actually have to have ours in, because it's Aussie time that they're going to draw it. So most of us in the US are probably going to be asleep when they draw it, but you might wake up to 150 Aussie dollars towards Aussie Decor Transfers. You just have to get your entries in. So if you bought something and have not done anything with it, a transfer or a decoupage paper or something, get something done and get yourself entered in to win. Because who doesn't want free product sent right to you? And with 150 Aussie dollars, you can buy a few things. Look how pretty that is. So we're kind of right in the middle of the air here. So we're going to give it a couple eucalyptus leaves around. And I am going to cut these apart because I don't want to lay them exactly the way they are. You just take scissors and you cut your images out. Your paper is going to go with you. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these or not, but we'll just cut them apart just because we're gonna. We're just gonna cut them apart. All right, we're gonna cut these words off of here because we're actually not gonna use those either. And we can just throw them aside because you never know when we might need something to stick on somewhere. So now we're gonna peel our back off of this guy, and we're just gonna make this look like a bouquet of flowers. Like we got some eucalyptus coming over here towards the end. Make sure that's down. We'll just design a beautiful bouquet of flowers here. Still waiting for a transfer for that contest to complete a project. Yes, you should try and win, Donna. Get in it to win it. You can have so much fun. There's new stuff coming out we don't quite know about yet, but we will tell you when we can. So you'll be excited to see some new stuff. You could even save the money for a little bit and wait for the new stuff to come out. Not that our stuff that's in there is not already fab, but you never know what's coming out, guys. Deb, the owner's been working super, super hard at getting us some new stuff. These are releasing really nice tonight. So I'm happy about that because then I don't have to spend too much time on each flower. But if you guys are just starting on this, just be gentle with them. Take your time. I kind of got the feel of like whether they're sticking or not, so I go a little bit faster and pull them up a tiny bit. But if this is your first time, please take your time. You know, don't rush it at all. Not that we rush either, but you kind of get the feel of it. Like the first time, a transfer is much different than when you're playing like we've been doing these for weeks now. All right, we're gonna stick another eucalyptus out back in the background, coming out this way. Again, I don't really have a plan here. We're just doing it. We're just gonna layer them. They layer really nicely. They feel like nothing, like there's nothing there. I was actually showing to a friend the other day. She was looking at my flamingo table, and she said, I can't believe there's no halo on this. I'm like, I know, they're unbelievable. You can't even feel that it's a transfer. There's no divide, you know? So again, we'll explain the rest of the fake wood in a couple minutes. But you saw at the beginning, if you're just jumping on, at the beginning I showed how to get the undertone of this fake wood on here. And then I'll explain the rest of the process. You won't be able to see it tonight because my piece won't be dry enough. See, these are coming off so nice tonight. I just work the area that I'm lifting to, and if I see any resistance or anything coming apart, guess what? I put it back down, and then I just go from there. So you really can just build with these. Like the wildflowers come in all these pieces. This is gumnuts and my tongue is stuck. Gumnuts and grevillea. My tongue is stuck. I couldn't say it. Alright, so now we got 2 eucalyptus on. I think we might save this guy and see if we feel like we need him. And we're going to save these 2 little leaves in case we need them. Thanks, Cheryl. Alright, who are we going with next? The big guy? Another big guy? What are we thinking? We thinking that there? And then maybe this coming this way, and then we can stick some of those... Oh, where did I put them? Oh, I dropped them on the floor. Alright, so then we can stick some of these little babies kind of coming out of here. What about that? Your tongue gets stuck every time. I know, I hate being tongue-tied. It's absolutely the worst feeling to be tongue-tied. So I like to actually take the backing off because then you can get a little bit better of an idea of like what that's going to cover and what it's not going to cover. I think we're going to go like this. So it kind of covers into like the stick of this one so we don't actually see where it ends. And then we're going to come like this. And then we'll take this one and fill in this way. And then we can fill in with the little flowers. Does that sound like a good idea, guys? I think it's a good idea. Then we'll hide some of like where the flowers aren't touching. And we always have a little bit more eucalyptus to play with to fill in the foreground. versus we're kind of going from the back forward. So you do need to think about that. Like, I knew I wanted my eucalyptus behind. I kind of wanted this guy to be behind. And you just got to think about that before you put them down so you can layer them so they actually look like they're in front of each other. I'm going to go around my edges first because that's the hardest part to stick. Not that I'm having any trouble with this tonight. We're just whoop, right off the edge. That's okay. I don't really want it off the edge because I have not touched up my edges yet. I'm going to give them like that deep purple color. And actually the base might be that deep purple color because I really love it. There we go. It came off that edge. And these are just releasing like a dream tonight. They do release better than any others that I've seen, that I've actually used. I love how easy they are to use, but tonight we are really just trucking along. It knows I really want to get this project done for you guys so you can see it. You can hear it. You can hear it sticking a tiny bit, but I think it's more just the paper crinkling on me here. Your edges are the hardest parts, like your very edges of things. That's going to give you the most resistance. So just be cautious of that and you're good to go. If you see anything coming up, you're not pulling this all up at once. You're just pulling it up lightly. It changes color. It gives you an idea if it's still stuck, and you put it back down and rub it again. Thank you, Betty. Aren't these cool? And of course I said I was going to check the flowers and I didn't check the flowers, so hopefully nobody's upside down. See how my head works? I really was going to make sure I wasn't putting anybody on upside down, and I very well might be that somebody's upside down at this point. One of these flowers hangs up or down and everybody does it the opposite way. So hopefully I'm not doing it the wrong way. And to be honest, I'm thinking that nobody in Florida is going to know how the flowers hang anyway. So if anybody from Australia is watching and I have my flowers upside down, I deeply apologize. I really was going to look and my brain just went to creating and I forgot. All right, so there. We got some more flowers on. It's called wildflowers, so we're just going wild with them. I love them too, Betty. All right. This guy's coming here and we're going to make that guy touch the ground. And he's going to cover up the sticks of the other guys. And then we will fill in some pieces from there. I'm just going to go over it once because it does actually start sticking. And that way it makes sure there's no air bubbles in there or anything bothering you. These are the ones, are they the right way? I think it's too late if they're not. Are they the right way, Brenda? Please tell me they are. I know you commented on somebody else's one time when they were putting it the wrong way. Hopefully it's the right way. And if it isn't, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody. We don't have a whole lot of flowers that grow upside down. I just get so excited to try new things. Like, this is the first time I'm using this transfer and I love it. So we're kind of almost complete with this, and then I'm going to tell you how we did the faux wood, and I will just add a few more touches to it, and then this will be easy peasy done. I get so excited, like I want it to be done instantly. It is a little bit of work. You got to work for this, guys. You got to work for this beauty. But you can see how nice they layer together. They don't really look like they're layered. I don't know if you've used other transfers, but sometimes you'll put like one transfer on another and you can see the other transfer underneath the other one, and it really drives me crazy. These are pretty good. You don't see that, like you don't actually see that this leaf coming here actually has a leaf from somebody else underneath it. Makes it look real, like somebody painted it. I'm sure by now you guys know that we distribute in the US. the UK and Australia currently. We're still looking for distribution in Canada and, let me think, Canada and Europe, is it? Because I know we had somebody lined up and now we don't, and we're still looking for people, especially Canada. Guys, don't you know somebody in Canada? Where did Easy Peasy come from? Anybody know? I don't know. My niece says it a lot, Easy Peasy, lemon squeezy. And then there's Easy Peasy wax that you use for furniture. I don't know, I find myself saying it once in a while, but it's not really a saying that I normally say, if that makes sense. Easy peasy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, and I'm sure there's more to that too. Ask my 11-year-old niece. Alright, look how nice! It comes off so easy. Again, just no resist. I'm barely holding this. And as I go through an area, I just see if it's ready to come off. Just easily. Look how fast that was to get all those flowers down. We're gonna rub on these. And there we go. Look how pretty. And again, I said I might take, it's British, Betty, that's cool. I might take just the stencil and kind of like finish this side out a little bit. I'm not really sure. But what do you think about you think we have enough eucalyptus in there? Probably, right? We could always maybe, no, I think we're okay with the eucalyptus. I think that would look wrong in there. I don't think there would be. What about these babies? You think we need any of these sticking out on the other side? Looking for opinions here. You think we should like put one over here or something? Or are you guys getting tired of watching transfers go down? Let's cut these apart here. Should we stick one of these in here? What do you think? Just to liven it up a little bit, get rid of the stick and put it in there? Yes, let's do it. Let's get rid of the stick because now we're in the forefront, not the background. And actually, let's stick one over here. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stick that fluffier one over here, just to fill in a little bit of that space. That's so cool, Betty. I bet you Siobhan knew that. I'm gonna have to ask her. Actually, I'd ask my friend that's over here from the UK if that's what she knows it as too. I've never really thought about it. Betty, thank you for always looking things up and for telling us your knowledge, because you always have answers to things that I wouldn't even think of. I love that. Alright, now we got a little fluffy thing over there. And let's stick some of these in here. Now I might have a few little scraps of greenery. I tell you guys all the time, take them, put them in a folder. You never know what you're going to be doing. Say you're doing a jewelry box and you just need a little something. No, I guess we're going to go over that leaf a little bit, and we're going to come like this with this one to fluff up these sides a little bit. And then we'll put the babies. We'll stick this little baby over there. Like they're popping through. And we'll just stick a little baby in there for some color. Just have fun with it. Nobody's going to analyze what you did and say, oh, that flower doesn't look right there. Nobody. Yes, these would make beautiful jewelry boxes. I thought about it. I did have one that I could have used tonight, but I really want to do these tables because I'm just really into this faux wood stuff. I don't know why. And I can't do it enough times. I just keep doing it. I absolutely love it. You can see this doesn't stick right away, so I could reposition this to kind of go that way a little bit, which I think we might do to cut into this a little bit. It's not until you start rubbing, it's not really hooked down. Once you start hooking it down, it does grip very well. I put this on a tea kettle, and I use it every day, and it's still on there. I put the flamingos on there. Alright guys, bear with me, I'm almost done, and we're going to tell you my secret about the wood graining tool. And again, this is just how I do things. This is not maybe how somebody else does. I know there's wonderful YouTubes and everything else out there. You should learn from everybody and then take what you want from everybody's videos, whether it's transfers, decoupaging, whatever, and then you figure out your way of doing it. Alright, so look how cute that looks. It looks like a bunch of wildflowers. It's kind of wildy looking. And like I said, I'm going to take a transfer and just kind of, I might even put later on a couple little eucalyptus sticking in here. I don't know. It might evolve a little bit. I'm going to try to turn this so you guys can see it like how I'm seeing it in my head here. Let me just turn you without knocking anybody over. Alright, now you can see it from that angle. I love how the wood looks behind it. Alright, so we did the blending tonight for the wood. That's your base, right? After you get done with that, this is how I do it. I seal it. I seal it with usually a flat, because it's not going to matter. I let the sealer dry really good. Then I come back and I give it a mist like I did, and I take a glaze. This is a brown glaze. I cover the entire top of the table with glaze, right? And then you take your wood graining tool, and I really apologize, I forgot it. They're only about this big. They have just funky lines on them. And you take it and you rock it this way, back and forth to create those different like wood grains. So this might have been like this way, and I might have done a long thing like this and then rocked it like this. Then you turn it the other way, and you come this way and that way, back and forth on your surface to get that wood grain. Let that dry again. If you're going to put a transfer over it, I seal it again. Let that dry, because your transfer wants to be not on a porous surface. So I'm using a chalk paint, and the glaze would have been okay, but I made it run like wood, so I gave it another coat. I let that sit, and here we are. Yes, paint, seal, glaze, tool, got it. That's it, Donna. It's so simple. Practice it on something. I got the graining tool. I literally just jumped right onto my desk. I knew it was my piece of furniture. It was going to live in my house, and I just did it, and it came out so gorgeous, and I'm absolutely obsessed with doing it now. Like, I can't do it enough on pieces. So how beautiful did that come out? The other one's going to be a little bit different. As you saw, it had different colors on it. It's got yellow flowers, so I will have 2 for you guys to see tomorrow. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. I want to see your faces, guys, over in the Creator Club. Whether you don't get in for the contest or not, get yourself something. Try these transfers, try them something, get into the Creative Club, show it to us. If it's okay with you, we send them over to Instagram. If you guys have a business, you can tag your business. Get into that Aussie Creative Club. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you're over on the Aussie Decor Transfer page, and that you like that page, you follow that page, so you see all of our videos, all of the brand ambassadors, content creators. We've got a few new content creators that just came on. I'm one of your US brand ambassadors. There's a few of us. There's a few in the UK and Australia. We are just growing, and we're having so much fun. So you guys can check out my link if you want to see anything that's there. Make sure you hop on over to my page, because you never know when I'm going to be live and using Aussie or anything else, or prepping for my Aussie. And, you know, just show love to all of us. Share us around. Get the word out there. You guys, we're growing, and we're so just proud to be part of this, and proud to have you guys following all of us. So I appreciate you guys all. You'll see me again next Wednesday at 7 p.m. We have Miss Krista on her chat with me on Friday, and that will be around 12 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time here in the U.S. I will be talking with Krista from Lither Glitter about her business. Last week we had U.S. stockist Wendy Vaughn, and you know, we're just going through our stockists and telling you where you can get your stuff. I appreciate you all. I'm not going to take up any more of your time tonight, you lovely people, and I will see you again next week. All right, I'll talk to you later, guys. Have a fabulous night. Bye.